One of our favorites, and actually probably I would say 99% of all of our clients and all of our treatment centers are providing low-level laser phototherapy. And so when I say that, it's a mouthful. You're going to be very familiar with it with the term of low-level laser or red light therapy, also laser stimulation from phototherapy. Hi, and thanks for joining us. You have tuned in to another episode of Hair Loss, Restore Your Roots and Confidence. And today we're going to be talking about postpartum hair loss, understanding and coping with the changes in your body and with the changes in your mind, and certainly the unwanted changes in your hair due to the loss that you're experiencing with your PP hair loss, right? So we do have a special guest near the end, so make sure that you stay tuned. And if you have a few moments, jump on our YouTube channel because we have a few pictures of a very famous doc who's going to be joining us with some natural therapy for many of you listeners who are experiencing this aggressive telogen effluvium shed with your postpartum hair loss. So one of the things that we want to really dive into today and talk about is that, yes, you're experiencing this hair loss. And in the world of trichology and dermatology, we consider this telogen effluvium. As a little overview, your hair goes through 3 growing cycles: an anagen, a catagen, and a telogen phase. When you have this aggressive shedding, many times there are underlying health issues that moves your hair from that growing phase into this shedding phase very rapidly, and obviously not under your control. And so what happens is postpartum, we find that our body ramps up and it's in the best shape that it's probably ever been, right? While we're pregnant. And so it's amazing. We welcome this opportunity. We're taking all of our prenatals, or we're also working with a functional physician or a nutritionalist who's helping us make sure that our bodies are extremely healthy, so that we make sure now that we're providing for our infant. And so as time goes along, the body moves through this cycle process just as it's very normal. However, what happens is that once we deliver, the body goes through a very aggressive change. And when that happens, we obviously know that we experience at times numerous issues that can come into play after this beautiful, wonderful moment. 1 being hair loss, 2 being different forms of postpartum depression. And then 3, certainly, the focus on underlying health issues that all of a sudden seem to be raising their ugly heads, if you will, and that we don't even know. So since we're talking about postpartum hair loss today in this episode, we want to dive in and really focus on some opportunities for you, that when you're getting ready to get out of the shower and you start to comb your hair and you're seeing handfuls and combfuls of hair everywhere, you want to make sure that you know what to do. Number 1, you want to make sure that you really understand that this truly is just postpartum hair loss, right? And how do you do that? Well, there's lots of ways. I mean, first is that you can certainly, during your next gynecology and OB visit, you can make sure that you ask them to run labs. Getting your trace metals and minerals or vitamins and nutrients added into just that traditional, what's called a CBC type of a blood lab, will definitely provide the lab and the physician more insight into what's going on with truly your overall nutritional health after the baby is born. This is extremely important, especially if you're nursing. And many times, if you are nursing, the common practice is that you'll continue taking your prenatals, right? However, even after you've delivered, and even though you're continuing to take the prenatals and nursing is going fine, you can still experience this telogen effluvium shed. And so really what I'm advising is that I want you to make sure that really the only cause of this hair loss is this postpartum hair loss and this TE shed from your delivery. Otherwise, we need to make sure that we understand exactly what's going on with the underlying health issues in the body. And that's most important. So make sure you have those labs run. So that's important piece number one. The next step, number two, is how important is your hair health and the amount of hair that you are growing to you. Now, I know that seems like a stupid question, but at the end of the day, you're going to start recovering this hair over time, and the hair is going to start moving back into that growing cycle. The issue is that it takes a long, long time. And if you are affected by any of these other underlying health issues that I just recently mentioned on step one, then you definitely need to seek counsel from a trichologist, from a dermatologist, or someone that's really specializing in hair loss. And that's certainly something that our clinic can do here if you live in the local Tennessee area. However, if you're not in our area, we offer video consultations and we can talk about our proactive treatments that are certainly able to be performed in the privacy of your own home. So number two, making sure that you do not have any other issues that might be precluding the hair growth, right? And then number three is let's dive into how that we can stimulate and help our hair regrow quicker and faster, right? And making sure while we're doing this, that we're enhancing the natural health of our hair, that we're also being very kind to our scalp and exfoliating the scalp just as we do with our skin. We forget sometimes, right? That the very first thing that we need to do is we need to exfoliate off all of our dead skin cells and certainly the dry mass that continues to linger after we've either gone through a transition in our life or our bodies. And certainly postpartum is definitely one of those. And so now we want to talk a little bit about those treatments, right? What treatments can you use to help re-stimulate the growth of your hair? One of our favorites, and actually probably, I would say 99% of all of our clients and all of our treatment centers are providing low-level laser phototherapy. And so when I say that, it's a mouthful. You're going to be very familiar with it, with the term of low-level laser or red light therapy, also laser stimulation from phototherapy. All of that to be said is that red light stimulation has been known since the 1700s to incentivize healing, whether that is from the stimulation in the circulation of the blood flow, from the oxygen flow, from speeding up those natural cells to regrow and to really boost our bodies and our health back into shape, right? And all with no drugs, no synthetic applications. And that's one of the reasons that we're going to talk a little bit more and dive into this lovely guest that we have who's joining us later. And I'm sure that he might not appreciate that I called him lovely, but he's a lot of fun. And he is really on the cutting edge of helping us with all of our laser light therapy and are helping us also understand why that the lights are increasing the stimulation in the hair and the growth. So I want to say now that you have these three tips, right? The first is really understanding what is going on with that hair loss and is that postpartum and is that all? And the number two is if you're concerned or if you have a question in your mind, make sure that you check with your provider. And if your OB is not of a proactive nature in helping you with those labs, you are welcome to always reach out to our clinic. We can help you run labs in any location that you live in. We have a wonderful service that we provide there. And then number 3 is that if you're going to move forward with treatment and whether the hair loss is deemed that it is simply postpartum and you are in a situation that you want to stay on the natural side of treatment, let's talk about that laser therapy and what other forms of treatments that you can provide for the scalp as you're going through this new regrowth phase. And so now, as we dive into these natural treatments, we want to talk about this laser stimulation. And as you'll hear, we have a dear friend of ours, Dr. Rabin, who's going to share a little bit more information about how we can really kind of see and reap the benefits of low-level phototherapy. He's going to be demonstrating an actual cap that's made specifically for women with diffused hair loss. So when we talk about female diffused hair loss, we're talking about hair loss from the frontal hairline, extending down to the temples, around the ear area, and then also extending all the way to the nape of the neck or to the back below that round of your head. And so this particular M2 laser design and laser device is made specifically for those who have existing hair, and that we want to get the lights penetrating down into the scalp so that we can start to help that regrowth and that restimulation of each follicle in that anagen growing phase. Dr. Rabin, you've been such a great supporter of women and men that have been, dealing with hair loss for many, many years. And it's been so important and so helpful to have you on, our Restore Your Roots and Confidence today. And we're looking forward to many more inventions that you create to help our women and our men alike, and especially women with postpartum hair loss, start to regain their confidence and certainly regain their hair. So we thank you so much for your time and are just grateful for who you are and what you do.
Hey, I really enjoyed it. And I got to send a photo shot to my PR folks.
Oh, that'll be great. Good. Oh, we love it. Okay. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Very Take care. Bye-bye.
Nice seeing you. Bye-bye.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed understanding and learning a little bit more about the laser therapy for your postpartum hair loss. We also want to let you know that depending upon where you are in your journey of the hair loss and how important the hair growth is to you, please start with a professional, a trichologist, a dermatologist, and someone who can really help you on this stimulation of this regrowth process and moving this forward as quickly as possible. There are lots of opportunities. And as I had mentioned, if you're a listener of ours, feel free to jump on our YouTube channel, take a look at the design and the cap. Otherwise, feel free to just log on to the HPIHairPartners.com website. You'll find this low-level laser device just listed under M2, and it's a turbo laser. You will not see a price listed, and that is because it is a professional device, and with limitations, we'll review all the pricing with you during a complimentary consultation. So as we end our show, we truly hope that you've been able to deem some information and some help. Know that there are lots of shampoos, lotions, potions, conditioners, scalp masks, and treatments that we can provide. We just need to know exactly what's going on with your postpartum loss and make sure that we're treating the scalp and the new growth in one way, and that we're caring for the existing hair that you currently have in a very different way, and making sure that the two of these are colliding and that you're giving yourself an opportunity to have the best voluminous, shiny, healthy, growing hair that you possibly can. And as always, We love sharing our information with you. We encourage you to let us know what we can do better, how we can give you more information. And then always, every morning when you wake up and you look at yourself in the mirror, remember today is a great hair day. Bye-bye.